Time to prepare for the upcoming treasure map versus Akainu without using the new units. It's actually not even necessary to use some 9th anniversary units. I am using the ones I pulled. You can definitely replace them if you were unlucky in the anniversary. We are going to discuss all of the teams, the preparation and the replacements in this video. So without further ado, let's get to it. First up, we have the fight versus Strength Coby. In this team I will be using Treasure Map Legend Hina as my captain, but do not worry, you can use Pirate King Adventures Roger instead. Essentially, Hina is mainly here for damage boosting, but more importantly to deal with the after defeat damage because she provides a damage reduction shield. If you miss her, pick AA Roger as captain and then someone to replace her who can of course reduce damage after the boss's defeat. Our friend captain here is supposed to be Luffy Yamato, the 9th anniversary legend, the first one, so they remove bind completely because of their captain ability. But there's a catch. Despair is also present in the quest, meaning that if Despair is applied before the bind, Luffy Yamato, even with their captain ability, cannot remove the bind. In that case, just use Pirate King Adventures Roger as double captain and you're good to go. Feel free to use Luffy Yamato in another team wherever you see fit. Now of course, for the rest of the team, we need to deal with the Despair somehow, and if the bind removal does not work from Luffy Yamato, Pirate King Adventures Roger as double captain can completely remove it with sockets and his triple special activation. Free to play login bonus Q Lim is awesome here, the MVP of the team, because first of all, alongside sockets, she can completely remove Despair. With her Sailor ability, she can resist Special Rewind and then provide everyone else with their specials back, and she can of course also provide chain boundaries for us to evade the chain debuff. Now, if you activate the damage reduction providing unit special before Lim, you get the exact chain boundaries you need, 2.25 times. If you do not activate the damage reduction unit before her, maybe it's not possible because it is a Sailor unit and you don't have Hina, or you are using Hina as a crewmate, in that case you're still fine, you just need to do a couple of attacks before the chain boundary goes over the limit and you start doing normal damage. So a very straightforward team. And I'm also using Smoker here specifically because he is boosted by 1.25 times and he provides Hina with super type. He can also increase damage, he's not necessary of course, being Q also helps, and finally just Treasure Map Momonosuke, the last TM unit, only because he is boosted by 1.4 times. You can replace both of these units with whatever you want, and if we can use a Luffy Yamato friend captain, the multiplier of this team is 5.48 times. The next mini-boss will be Sai Garp, and this quest is of course made for 6 plus V2 Big Mom. The new Super Evolution, our new 6 plus dual unit, if we have her as double captain and we super swap both of our captains, she deals with paralysis completely. Then if we activate the special, we deal with the chain debuffs, and the only thing we need is someone to make block slots into matching. The guy for the job in my team is Treasure Map Who's Who will give us a full board of guaranteed matching slots, and if you activate him before you super swap the two Big Mom captains, then you can also get Wano slots on our captains. Everyone else is either here to increase damage or because they are int. They're all free to play units, you can use essentially whoever you want, these are some good examples, and of course with her super swap V2 Big Mom will also provide an attack boost and an ore boost for everyone, and the ore boost is not interruptible, so do not worry about the interruption, simply because it is not coming from a special but from a swap. This team's multiplier is around 4.89 times. The next mini boss is Strength Kizaru, and yes, here I am using 3 anniversary rare recruits, and they can definitely be helpful, especially for your multiplier, but they are not necessary, so do not worry, I will discuss about replacements. Let's talk about our captain first. I am using double carrot Wanda, entering on Wanda, which is important because we want to super swap to carrot in the final stage. Super swapping to carrot won't just give our full team an attack boost, it will also completely remove Despair from them, hence why we want them as double captain. That way we can deal with the high turns of Despair. They are 12, so super swapping both of our captains is the perfect way. Of course, we also have their special, which will provide everyone with an ore boost. They are a very good not only utility unit here, but also damage boosting unit. What if you don't have Carrot Wanda? In that case, you either need to deal with despair with specials by doing replacements in our crewmates, or of course adding another captain that with either their captain ability or swap/super swap, they can remove despair from themselves. And of course you can also always use despair removing supports. You need 12 turns of removal. If you have maximum despair sockets, that goes down to 9. So for example, you can use this rare recruit Brook here from the anniversary, if you have him, to remove 6 more turns, and then Valentine Nami support on him perhaps for 2 more turns, and then another unit that removes despair or another support. Without Brook, of course, you can replace him and Jinbe or him and Frankie with any combination of units that can essentially help you remove despair. If you have 9th anniversary legend Oden Toki, they can be big help. Treasure map ace Luffy can help you with V1 Rayleigh support attached to them, and even other units like Cypher to play Robin or V2 Hiyori. For the defense up, because the enemy has full immunity, we cannot reduce it, so we need to remove it with a special. I am going to use treasure map Moria for that, free to play unit. He removes it for 5 turns, only 3 turns are available, so super easy work. And then we have a Wano slot barrier for 1 hit and 2 turns. So there are multiple ways to deal with that. If you have the combination of Moria and rare recruit Jinbe here from the anniversary and Sanji's bats, each of them remove 1 turn of barrier, so you can completely remove the barrier without having a Wano slot. Another way to deal with it, if you have both Brook and Frankie or at least one of them, if they're limit broken at the start of the quest, you get either your top or bottom row units having a Wano slot. So maintain the Wano slot and use it to break the barrier. If you miss all of these 3 anniversary rare recruits, then you can either use another unit that gives you a Wano slot or another unit to at least remove 1 extra turn of barrier, so with Moria's special you completely remove the barrier. A great example for barrier removal is max level limit break free to play Sai Sanji, and a great example to get easy Wano slots is V2 Hiyori, who I also mentioned before and can be used as a despair removal as well. My strategy, for example, with this team is to completely remove the barrier and also maintain a Wano slot on my Frankie here in the bottom row, so I can activate him in the final stage to also manipulate all of the other slots that will be turned to RCV from Kizaru into Wano. So no barrier and a full board of Wano slots. But with my specific team, including the 3 new anniversary rare recruits, the multiplier is 5.29 times. The next mini boss is Sai Aokiji, and for this one you need 3 specific things to make it super easy. A friend captain Albert, you can also use him as double captain of course if you have him, a full powerhouse / driven team, and a bind remover as a crewmate. It is that simple. I am using double Albert in my personal team of course because I pulled him, which means I don't need a bind remover because double Albert captain resists bind on himself. But if you only can use him as friend captain and you miss Albert, then use another captain that fits the team. A perfect free to play example is 5+ Blitz Kaido. We got his calls in the past Kizuna, and you can even use Treasure Map legend Blackbeard. Kaido is not only great to boost our damage, but he also deals with the 10 hit barrier the enemy has. Something to have in mind in case you can only use Albert as your friend captain, your bind remover needs to be a crewmate and not your captain. So if Blackbeard is your bind remover, do not use him as your captain, use him as a crewmate and use Kaido as your captain. That is of course because if Blackbeard is binded, he cannot resist it and then remove it. This int rare recruit page 1 is also a great bind remover. He essentially does the same thing as Blackbeard, but a bit worse. But in this case, because this is a treasure map, page 1 is probably the better choice because he has a better point multiplier. And that is everything you need. The other unit I am using is treasure map Bez. He's free to play, int and driven. So perfect for the team, you can use whatever you want, either for damage or utility. Something to keep in mind, especially if you are using Albert only as a friend captain, is your special activation order. First, you want to get access to Albert's super type, hence why we are using Kaido. and now you want to activate his super type first. That will make his slot Ueno, then you activate his special to get the full board of Ueno slots. You also of course will avoid the type slot non-beneficial debuff, give everyone their specials back, and also remove their special bind provided they are driven or powerhouse. After that, if you are not using double Albert as captain, use your bind remover and all of your damage boosters, including Kaido, to of course break the barrier and beat the boss. With double Albert as your captain, this team's multiplier is around 5.71 times. Versus the main boss, Q Sengoku, this is my team. We are going to use Treasure Map Legend Bon Clay as our captain, but to be honest, this is a pretty versatile position. Just use someone that fits the team. For example, if you did pull in the anniversary and you were lucky enough, you can use the new Rasugo Special Sanji, maybe Luffy Yamato if you are not using them in another team, or 5+ Sai Super Type free-to-play Luffy if you want a free-to-play option, or generally something that can help you damage-wise or even utility-wise if you are missing something. Now, our friend captain needs to be the new versus Blackbeard, and you will understand very shortly why. In stage number 2, we need someone to resist and also remove Special Bind, and that role in my team is fulfilled by Colosseum Hode Jones, so we activate him first. Then you want to activate both the special and the versus ability of your friend captain Blackbeard. He will actually make all of the block slots into matching and give you boosts that will last for this and the next stage, specifically for 3 turns, which is awesome. Be very careful, you want to activate his versus ability, which will be full because of stage 1, do not worry, before you activate Frankie, because Blackbeard's versus ability gives you a color affinity boost and Frankie also gives you a color affinity boost for 3 turns. We will prefer the best one of the two, Blackbeard's. You activate Frankie after Blackbeard to reduce damage reduction by 3 turns, and then after Frankie you also activate Summer Raid Jinbe once you need his double special activation, but only one special activation in stage 2 to completely remove damage reduction. Then you beat stage 2 and you proceed to the final stage. There, we are going to activate Raid Jinbe's special again, his second special activation, and this time, because he removes paralysis, he will make all of the paralysis slots into matching, and because the boss has no immunity, he can reduce the opponent's defense to 0, so we don't need to remove the 8 turns of defense up, we can reduce it by 100%, but have in mind we need to beat the main boss immediately in 1 turn, which of course we are going to do. After Jinbe, we want to super swap Bartolomeo to Cavendish, and the super swap will provide us with a damage reduction shield enough for us to survive the after defeat damage. And when we activate Cavendish, he will remove the threshold completely while also providing us with an attack boost. Finally, you can activate the special and super type of Bon Clay, or just activate the damage boosting special of your other captain if you need to. Bon Clay, of course, will give us a boost in base attack, and he can provide us super type for Dex, and of course that is great because Sengoku, the main boss, is Q. Someone might think why not super swap Cavendish to Bartolomeo? It's actually pretty key to enter as Bartolomeo in the quest, because only Dex units get special cooldown reduction, not Q ones, so we lose a bit of damage here, but not a lot. It's going to be fine, especially if we consider we have Blackbeard's boosts. And because of Blackbeard's captain ability, we can also resist Despair and make it into a chain boost. For this specific team with Bon Clay as captain, your multiplier will be around 5.35 times. Versus the Intrusion Battle, we are going to need the other side of the versus unit as our friend captain, Whitebeard. So versus Whitebeard as friend captain. Here I am going to use Super Type King as my captain. If you do not have him, you can use another captain that fits the team, and the free-to-play option is of course 5+ Sai Super Type Luffy. You are of course going to lose out on damage, but the team will still work. For stage number 2, versus Whitebeard will be able to completely resist the Despair. He will also make all of our crew immune to blow away, so our captain is safe. And the only thing we need to do is gain enough damage and gain our specials back, and then beat stage 2. We are going to do that by entering the quest on Carrot from Carrot Wanda, then super swapping to Wanda in stage 2 to get an attack boost for everyone. And then we are going to activate Wanda to get an ore boost for everyone, and then provide everyone with their specials back. Even though Carrot Wanda are not a powerhouse unit, they can provide special cooldown reduction, an attack boost and an ore boost to powerhouse units, so everyone on the team gets it, even though Carrot Wanda is not fully boosted by our captains. They can also resist special rewind. So to replace them here, you do have pretty big shoes to fill, but essentially you need someone that can provide you with damage and, more importantly, provide the rest of your crew with their specials back. An example I can give you for a replacement, definitely not at the same level of damage boosting, but it is free-to-play point event Int Marco. That's it for stage 2. For stage 3, we want to activate Treasure Map Rare Recruit Uruz first, who will reduce attack down by 5 turns, and give our Sai units an ore boost. Now, Kaido here, our free-to-play Kaido, can also provide an ore boost, but he only provides it to driven units, and versus Whitebeard, our friend captain, won't get it. So we prefer Uruz's ore boost simply because we want our versus Whitebeard to do lots of damage. Now, if you do not have Uruz, I guess you have to settle for Kaido's ore boost and replace Uruz with another attack down reducer or remover. To completely remove attack down, because it is not 5 turns, it is 7, I am also using Rare Recruit page 1 support on Kaido. A good replacement example for Uruz, if you miss him, is of course Rare Recruit Int Drake, the one who removes attack down and also provides an attack boost. After the attack down is gone from special and support, you want to activate Whitebeard's special and versus ability. The versus ability will be max from stage 1, so don't worry about that. Whitebeard's special now will inflict damage to our crew, so it will reduce our HP, meaning the road to confusion will be removed. So Whitebeard is awesome for that, and he will also manipulate block slots, and then he will boost our damage. He will provide chain boundaries, which can also counter the chain debuff. His versus ability will also increase our damage and reduce damage reduction by 3 turns. So now from 8 turns, it will drop down to 5. Meaning that the only debuffs we now have to deal with in the final stage are the 5 remaining turns of damage reduction and the 5 turns of defense up. Raid Summer Jinbe is the man of the hour here because he deals with both of these debuffs. We need his double special activation, of course, and when we activate him twice, he will remove the remaining damage reduction, but will also reduce the opponent's defense to 0, simply because there is no defense down or full immunity. Which means we can do that, but we need to take care of Akainu in 1 turn, which we will do. He will also provide us with a conditional attack boost, which is awesome for our damage. Then you can activate Kaido to get an attack boost for some of your units. Mainly Kaido is here to allow King to gain access to his super type and also have page 1 support on him to completely remove attack down, though he has a good multiplier as well. And finally, for King, we want to activate his super type to get a Wano slot on him and the multiplicative attack boost, and then his special to get more damage and have a full board of Wano slots to increase our damage further. For my specific team, if you don't make any replacements, the multiplier should be around 6.50 times. And these are all of my teams without the new bots and replacements for the upcoming treasure map versus Akainu. Feel free to ask any questions if you want in the comments down below. I will do my best to help, and stay tuned for the quick playthrough guide the day the treasure map comes out. As always, thank you so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.